Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. This is Relationships Redefined. And tonight we are talking about dating with purpose. Dating with the purpose. Dating with the purpose. We're super excited. Before I introduce my amazing guest who is with me today, I just want to say welcome to everyone. My name is Corel Pinder. And I am the host of the Royal Access podcast. That podcast can be found on Apple, Spotify, anywhere where you listen to your podcast. And we are celebrating 1 year. Woo-woo! We have been podcasting for an entire year, 52 weeks. And so instead of just doing a normal recording of our session, we decided to do a live for the week on the series Relationships Redefined. So as Mr. Ferguson asked, there are different topics every night. And so tonight, the topic is, thanks so much, Tiff. Tonight, the topic is dating with a purpose, dating with a purpose. So for those who, I just want to do a quick recap of last night. For those who weren't here last night was Good Men Do Exist. Good men do exist. And I know they exist because I have a good man on the side of me here on the panel this evening. So I know that good men do exist. Okay. So some of the characteristics he talked about last night was someone who's God-fearing, someone who has a vision, someone who's working towards that vision, someone who's intentional about dating you, and they're very intentional about what their pursuit is about, willing to grow into the man of God. And he gave us this, to let us know that he may be broke, but don't judge the man if he's broke. He's broke, but don't judge him. Like that, that doesn't the only thing that qualifies as a good man. So he wanted that to be something we thought about. But something else that I thought he said that was so good was we were asking about the topic of church. Because even though we know that good men exist and there are good men out there, there's no denying the fact that when you do go into a church, it's way more females than it is males. And so we were asking him to break that down. And one of the things that stayed with me, he said, churches need to look at how they are reaching out to men differently, because the average man is just not going to walk up to church on a Sunday for a service, because that's kind of like not their thing. So he was saying, as a church, you need to think of other outreach activities that men would enjoy, whether that's sports related, whether that's something they're dealing with their hands, but that's a way to kind of introduce them into the faith. And then eventually they'll start going to the service, but to just sit down traditionally and wait for them to walk into church, he doesn't think that is the best, avenue. And I thought that was very insightful. So I see tonight we have some people. We have about 27 people in here tonight. So I want you to respond in the chat. And I see the number is continuing to grow. And I want you to respond in the chat if this is your first night. If it's your first night, say first night. First night, I got it right. It's my first night here. First night, let me know. Let me know. Is it first? Oh, Dina, welcome. It's your first night. First night, Lavon, welcome. Shanae said, first night. All right. Where you brought a couple people on your first night. We hope this is not your last. Because we glad that it's your first night. Awesome. Jasmine, Evelyn. Yes. First night. Welcome to the Royal Access. We are so glad to have you here. All right. And now let me know if this is your second night keeping it tight. You've been with us from yesterday. Second, I can say I'm ready. Second night crew. Shauna say second night, keeping it tight. Second night, Cleveland J. Second night, we keeping it tight. We appreciate you guys rocking with us for the second night. We got call, but Mikhail say second night. Woo, back for night two. Tiffany, good to see you, Tiff. Good to see you. And tonight, Kendra, Roxanne, second night, keeping it tight. Way to go, guys. I appreciate you. Tonight, we got some guys in the audience. We had some last night, too. But we got some. Let me, look, guys, if y'all representing, say I'm in the chat, I'm here. Just type I'm here. I've seen some. Just say I'm here. The guys are representing. This is a co-ed event. And we are glad that we have some men in the room for the topic dating with a purpose. Where the men? Nobody, where the man at? I know I don't only have my panelists. Where the man at? I'm here. I'm here. Okay.
There we go. There we go.
I was working today. I was inviting the men. I was working today. So we got some. Anthony, Kermit, Vaughn. Awesome. We got some men. Okay, so this is the last one. I want you to type in the chat. If you single and ready to mingle, if you engage, are you engaged or you're married? Single and ready to mingle. If you're not ready to mingle, just write single. Single and ready to mingle. You engaged or you're married. Could tell just say I'm married. Anthony say he's single. I tell y'all ladies, singles out there.
Single Pringle.
Ready to mingle.
Pringle.
Single. For John to say single, ready to mingle. Cleveland to say LOL, single. Single and ready, Roxana. Me and you, we single and ready. Many we leaving out the dating crew. Dating, sorry. Dating, you committed, you something, you snapped up. You don't want your booty.
Exactly, you can't leave them out.
You don't want your booty at you writing single in this chat. Yeah. You dated, all right, single, and I'll get back to you on the ready. Got it, Lavon, got some time. You should single and ready to mingle. Dating Diana. Oh, go ahead, girl. Y'all better date. Yes. So last night we didn't get to do any giveaways. So at the end of our session today, we're giving 2 sets of giveaways. We got books for the men and we have books for the women. And if you already have the book because you've been following me for a while, no worries. You can gift it to a friend. Welcome, Sean. Sean's in dating. So if you already have the book, you can gift it to a friend, but we're doing giveaways at the end. So stay tuned to the end so that we can do the giveaways. Now, for the moment, all of you have been waiting for. So we don't take too long to get right into the meat of the episode. We don't take too long. And so I want to introduce you to my amazing guest. Before I ask him how we met, I always ask all of my guests how we met. Don't worry about it. I know it's going to be very funny when you describe how we met, but it's okay.
Okay, no problem.
But I want to tell you 5 fun, interesting facts about our guest this evening. Okay. So our guest, his name is Ronaldo Dames, as you can see. So he's a big foodie. His absolute favorite food is conch salad. Salad.
Yes.
He cannot live without his chopstick. He has to be related to Catheldra Alexander. He cannot live without his chopstick. Can't let his lips get dry over there in Canada.
No, can't be choppy.
Canada, because that's where he lives. He lives in Canada.
There you go, Catheldra. I see you.
We're going international tonight. We stepped out international. Last night was Nassau, tonight we in Canada. So Canada. All right. He's been skydiving once and it's an absolute thrill. He enjoys being adventurous. He's a romantic at heart and a recording artist, a songwriter, and a producer. And he enjoys bringing out the creative side. And he doesn't have this written, but ladies, he's single and ready to mingle. Okay, go ahead. Finish the rest.
Of course.
So go ahead. So how did we meet?
Okay, so yeah, I can go. We've met way back in the day. So we actually met through your dad's sister, who just happened to be my mommy on the top of that. So there we go, how that goes. So if you don't know, yes, me and Carol are first cousins, very close.
We are first cousins. We are my dad and his mom are sister and brother, and so we are first cousins. So this is my cousin, hence me pimping him off. But yeah, ladies, very great guy, and single and ready to mingle. Okay, that was my last one for the night.
There you go.
So yes, Catheldra's in the chat. My sister's in the chat endorsing it as well. She said he's a sweetie pie.
There you go. Thank you, Catheldra.
He's amazing. just for those who may be curious, your age, just for those who may.
Oh yeah, so I'm 34.
34.
There you
34.
go. Yeah.
Can you say pimp him off?
I know.
34 ladies, Canada, recording artists. Yes, by day. What do you work?
By day. I work as a technical writer for internet and communications company. So that is my regular day job, the regular 9 to 5. So
smart. Yes, smart 34. Don't mind him living in Canada. He's clearly a Bahamian. That's my guy. All right. Okay, so we're gonna get into the interview, guys. Corella's the setup. Ray was like, I came here for a conversation. I don't know. It's like a whole dating thing.
Yeah, that's going in.
The purpose. Real setup. Okay, let's get into
Correct. Just remind anybody who was commenting that they could do the panelists and the attendees. So that the attendees could see. So I saw a couple. I'm
just seeing that because some of them are still doing panelists.
I got your back.
Make sure, I appreciate that. Make sure, guys, that it goes to everybody because right now, so go to the arrow and click panelists and attendees because me and Ray are dying at your comments, but I'm realizing that only us are seeing your comments. Okay. So the verse Amos 3:3, it says, do 2 walk together unless they have agreed to do so? Ray, but before I go into that, I don't think I prayed before we started.
No, we didn't. I saw a question. Kel's asking, I'm in Ontario, Kenya. You need to, yeah, there you go. She got it.
He's in Ontario. There we go. Kenya got your background. Kenya, helping us out.
There it is.
Let's pray before we start the interview.
Yes, let's do it.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for allowing us to come today. We are asking that the Holy Spirit take over, that they will not hear my words, not hear Ray's words, but only the words that you want them to hear, Lord. Help us to continue to put you first and continue to follow your lead as we seek to explore more about dating with purpose and dating with alignment to your will for our life. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Awesome. I was excited. I didn't forget.
You gotta start off.
Then I got to the scripture. The Lord said, I need you to come back.
Yes.
Rewind and pray for us. All right.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. All right. Awesome. We up to 37 tonight, guys. Y'all just continue to be active in the chat. Okay. So Amos 3:3 says, do two walk together unless they have agreed to do so? So my first question to you is, what is your definition of dating with a purpose, and how does this verse relate to your definition?
Yeah, so I checked out the verse saying, do two walk together unless they have agreed to do so. And when it comes to dating, they're just meaning being on the same wavelength, what you're agreeing for. When it comes to dating on purpose, it's definitely something that's intentional, something that you're looking for long-term, that could potentially be the person that you're set with for life. How are we going to work together as a team? You know, we can't be walking separately in terms of the things that we agree upon, our values, all of that is happening. So when you're dating with a purpose, you're not looking for someone that's just going to be temporary, a temporary fix to fix like maybe the loneliness or feeling alone for the moment. Just say, I don't see my life with a person, but hey, they're here for the moment. Maybe we may have a good 3 months, 4 months, whatever the case is, but you're not looking at the big picture for it. So you're not looking at it intentionally on purpose to do that. So, you know, you're trying to check in and see what's the love language. How can I really love this person? You're really trying to get in depth when you're trying to date on purpose with somebody. So that's how I feel like it. You're looking in terms of long-term, something serious, and really looking at what the person has to offer, what you both bring to the table, and seeing what the purpose will turn into. So, you know, you're going for it, even if it doesn't work out, you're essentially going for something that could definitely be long-term, that turns into getting married, being serious, you know, doing life together. So
as a guy, how long do you feel like before you know, like, this is somebody, okay, when I meet that person, like, oh no, this is a 3-month hangout, have fun person, versus no, this is someone that I could actually date towards intentionally getting married or a purposeful relationship? Like, how quick do you know? Do you like know when you meet them? Just like a date or two?
Man, I feel with men, sometimes I think you, like, deep down, I think you kind of know, like, even though you may not be 100% certain, you meet somebody as soon, like, you know, you date with somebody, you go out and you see how it is, the conversations, the things that they like, how it's going, the whole vibe is going together. And you'd be like, you know, you start thinking yourself like, I wonder, you know, that type of way, wondering that, hey, maybe this could be somebody going the long way, but, you know, you still shouldn't get too hyped up. You know, you still want to be able to do kind of like the wait and see, because, you know, sometimes you could get so attached in the first couple meetings, and then it completely goes downhill because you start getting a lot of the truth out from somebody of what is even like, oh, shoot, man, I got a little attached. And then you can start getting disappointed because of that situation. But I feel overall that you kind of know that this person is special in the type of way. Like you feel the vibe. I can't even say exactly what it be, but you would feel like something, and you're like, this is somebody who I think could, you know.
So so you're saying from I met the person, I could kind of assess.
You could kind of assess.
It still doesn't mean like, oh yeah, this is the person I'm going to marry from the first.
Exactly.
It's more like couple. So how long before? And I'm going off of my questions I sent you. I know. It's okay. It's okay. It's organic. So how long before you would know if they would be someone who would marry? Like, some people, they were there in a relationship for 4 and 5 years. Some people say you only need 6 months. What do you think?
I feel like, and you know what? Honestly, it depends on the amount of time you're spending with that person too, because so you can't really put a time limit. So like, say in a given week, you start seeing this person 2 to 3 times a week, whereas you might have been seeing this person just once a week. So like, you know, in that different time span, you get to know them a little deeper, on a deeper level, quicker, being able to spend that time. And so like, that's why I don't want to say to put a timeline. It depends on how much time you're putting in initially for first. So it could always vary from within that first month, because you've seen them like 8 to 12 times, and you're already doing it. Besides, like, if you just saw them maybe 4 times in a month, and you're still really trying to get to learn them and feel them out. So I would say in that type of consideration, then you'll know, and that's why you can't really put a set time limit on it to per se, because
But when they're
it
doing the
varies.
years, do you think the years? Do you think you really need the
I
years?
do not think you need the years, especially, I mean, I don't know who are in like their 30s or like late 20s and stuff like that. I don't think you need the years. I mean, I've seen people who've done 6, 7 years and then come to find out, oh my goodness, this was not the one. Like, gee, you was wasting your time. Like, that, you know, you feel the pain. You feel the pain.
You
But
feel the pain.
but overall, I feel like you do not need the years. I think nowadays, if everybody's being mature and if you're dating on purpose, honestly, like 6 months to within the year, you know if you really want to spend with this person. If not, then cut the
Cut them
loss of strength
loose.
or
Cut them
whatever
loose. Let
and
them. Let.
go ahead with it. But I think
Like
you
I
need to
say,
be
stop
careful.
blocking my husband.
You
Stop
got
blocking.
to,
If you ain't him, if you
hey,
ain't him, stop blocking him.
calm, miss that blessing. You called me miss that blessing because I stayed with you a month too long, you know.
Right. Let me stop. Let me stop blocking your wife, and you stop blocking my husband. Right.
Yeah.
Somebody, Levon in the chat, he said he thinks about 6 months. That's a guy. He said about 6 months, and they were saying facts that you have to assess. Like you said, you might meet someone, but after a while, that infatuation wears off. So you really got to be keen to, you know, is this working? So as a man in his 30s, what has dating like been for you? You don't have any kids. You're not married. Again, I'm pimping you off. So what has dating been like for you? Like, is it difficult? Is it like, what is it like out there? Like, the women say, like, you don't want to be in these streets. These streets is
these streets is anyway.
You don't want no part of these streets.
Dating has definitely been interesting. I always say trying to date for it because like early in my day, I wasn't really dating on purpose. Now, you meet somebody, oh, they're fun to be around, that type of stuff, but you're not initially thinking something long-term in that type of way. Like overall, I see myself as a good man, definitely for sure. But I gotta admit, I gotta be honest, there are moments when I've been trash, you know when they say men are trash, like I make trash decisions. And you gotta be honest for it to be able to do it. Like, always I'm someone you can almost talk to anything about, communicating, talk or whatever, like open book. But when it came to effectively communicating the feelings, I was bad at that because I had like an emotional wall up and not really giving my all in it, just like keeping at bay. So it doesn't have to be, like reaching out like that. So I can say probably an instance if I've missed out on probably being quality relations because I held back on certain things or, definitely like not with the consistency and allowing like any projections or whatever I had like to kind of break me down and not being as assertive as you want to really express yourself to them, like almost being now careful because you're like, man, I don't want to go through that pain again. So let me keep it where I know whatever happens, my feelings are still intact. It's still in store to go on, So in that type of way, seeing it. And even I can say sometimes, with long distance, I was never a fan of long distance. I think I had like opportunities to be in long distance, but I'm like, I ain't into that. If someone has a bad day, I can't go there, give them a hug, cry on my shoulder, hold their hand. It's like, what's this? But now I think that maybe if it's more mature enough back then, and if you made a plan, like say, okay, we have this long distance, so now what's the plan to actually try make this work? When I'm going to see you, this and that or whatever, like that, right? That in my head, I just used to be like, hey, long distance, well, that's cool with friends. If I see you, we go to eat and link up. Hey, it's all good. See how the vibes feel. But I was not in that time span to say I'm going to give myself the person because they're way over there, right?
Because they're not where you are. So I like that. So what do you think contributed to that maturity of, okay, I realize I'm not communicating. I realize that I'm putting walls up because I don't want to be in pain again. What led to you understanding like, that's what I was doing before. That's not what I want to do now going into new relationships. I'm open to long distance. And I tell people that all the time. Nobody's a real big fan of long distance.
No.
If you're not meeting someone where you live and you form a good connection with someone who's not there, what's the big deal? Make a plan, figure it out. I think long as a long distance has an end date. Like at what point, if we get to marriage, who you gonna move? I'm gonna move. What we gonna do?
Exactly. If it isn't a plan, then you can't go with that.
Yeah, but I think if you have so what do you think led to you coming to the stage of, I feel like I'm ready to purposely date, intentionally date with marriage in mind? Levon said he feels that a lot of men want to be married in this era. So what do you think led you to this point?
Well, at this point, honestly, I feel like it was a gradual process. a gradual process of self-awareness. If you going back and forth, you may talk to somebody, then then that kind of ends. Some people just with friends with, and I'm like, okay, really you got to do something different or your approach on certain things. And so I think and even praying about it, be like, what I got to do in terms of that. And like you said, you got to start being more intentional. Everyone who comes in with your values and stuff like that, and
Right.
know what it is what you want to see. And even though I'm putting myself in a vulnerable position, I need to just open myself more emotionally so that they, accept me, because like I may be good other ways and stuff like that, but just letting that wall down and really letting it in and be like, okay, I'm about to be open. I'm about to take the risk where
I gotta jump. I just gotta jump.
You gotta jump, right? You gotta faith without works instead. So something, I can't believe a thing like this is gonna happen to me or whatever. But if I'm not putting the work in, then how could I expect it to come through with somebody, right? So,
and that's something that I noticed too with wanting to date. I go to therapy. That's one of the ways that I work through some of the past pains and traumas that I've been through. And it's being open, like you said, to do the work. Like it's not until you kind of sit down and be very reflecting about, what did I do in my past relationships and realize what am I doing now, and see that I'm not that open. Last night we talked about, good men, and someone had asked the question, audience, like, how do you appear as if you're interested? And one of the things that I forgot to say is, one of the things I noticed about myself is I walk very fast. And so it's like, how are you trying to say that you open to dating? And anytime you're out in a public setting, you don't even, because he was saying you should make eye contact. And I was like, eye contact? I don't even know time for I just go to the bank, go to my God, go to the grocery store. Like, I don't even think anybody even saw me, because I'm just moving so fast. And guys, if you have questions, you could put it in the Q&A. If you don't want it to pass you, put it in the Q&A and we will come back to it. Many times we're unaware of our own emotions, right? So a lot of times we're unaware of our emotions. And so you said it was just quiet time with yourself, reflecting over the years, realizing I'm putting up walls. I'm not doing the work. And that's what kind of led you there.
Exactly.
So
I lied to, I know you mentioned about therapy. That's something I'm actually looking into, to making sure I get to a therapist so I can be good. Because, like I overall, I definitely want to improve myself overall as good as a person so that I could be a better man for my future wife, right? Because I think I'm pretty good now, but it's always way to improve and do that. So I'm actually kind of looking and say, let me get a therapist, and just to make sure get things better, just in a little sense, a type of way. So
yeah,
I think that is important.
Even the married people, I was talking to one of my friends, she's married. And of course, a lot of people before they get married, they do marriage counseling. And so she was saying that her and her husband are in counseling. And I was like, is everything okay? She was like, yes. And I wanted to stay that way. So that's why we're in counseling. So
exactly.
She's like, I wanted to stay that way. So that's why we go. And so I think a lot of times people shy away from therapy or counseling when that can be very effective and there's no longer a stigma. It's just more so it helps you to be extremely self-aware. And so that's only going to help you to grow more as an individual and more as a couple. So I heard on a panel that you date your level of self-esteem. You date your level of self-esteem. So when you think about your past relationships, do you agree or disagree with the statement when it says you date your level of self-esteem?
I think in a sense, I'll say definitely agree with it, because you may not be aware of it, like with your self-esteem, like your self-worth. If it's been depleting over years, like you've been in toxic relationships or people hurt you, stuff like that, like slowly, like surely you're getting broken down, not realizing how low your self-esteem is going. And so I think if you reach a point where that is happening, you got to see, the important thing is to like love yourself first. You want to be able to love yourself first, get yourself back to a place where you're doing good. You date yourself. Like I know sometimes people say I scared to go and do stuff by myself, but shoot, I would take myself to the movies. I would take myself out to eat. I've done solo trip and I've enjoyed myself to the fullest. I've had a ball. I'm waiting on nobody. I'm doing this type of stuff. But I think you have to like get back to a place of yourself to see down to the heart of the matter, like what matters to you. Because if you don't end up doing that, you'll lose yourself and then you start settling. You just be with somebody because you don't want to be alone. You be with that person knowing you shouldn't be, but because that person is right there, you have that companionship, somebody to be next to, that type of way. And so it'll have, you want to step back up the standards to help weed out those who don't suit the life that you're looking for, ultimately what you want to have, like with a partner. So I think you have to guess.
And I think what people don't realize is that it's not that. I think when the person said you date your level of self-esteem as well, I think that self-awareness that you mentioned just now is what is so important, because I don't think it means that, if you're insecure, that their insecurity is going to show up in the same way. Your insecurity may show up in a controlling way. Their insecurity may show up as arrogance. It may show up in different ways. So I think that, when you do go through therapy and counseling and being, a reflective person and journaling and just putting yourself in that position of self-awareness, taking time by yourself, then you're able to understand, you know what? I'm being a little prideful here. Yeah. I know I could get a little prideful, and I think that's what's going on right now. Yeah. Or I could be a little selfish. I tend to be a little So it's not always that you have the same weakness. Like a selfish person may be with someone who's always giving too much. So It may be an opposing, thing, but sometimes your weakness is being attracted to someone else's weakness. So that's why self-awareness is so important. And I think people don't realize that. Okay. Yeah. So I heard this girl say before, and I thought it was so profound. She was saying that women are often taught, like, wait on the man, wait on your Boaz, girl. Don't be rushing. Boaz coming. Like, shut up with this Boaz. They're always preaching to women, wait, right? And she was saying that if you are a man of God, you should also be waiting. She said, as a man of God, you should also be waiting on a yes from God if you should pursue this person. And so, do you agree with that as a man of God, it isn't like you are waiting as well? You're waiting on, yes, this is someone that I feel like aligns with your purpose and what I have you to do. Yes, I feel like this is someone you should pursue. And what does that look like for a man? Like, when you're always getting the people in the church, what happened? Yes, Boaz.
So, I believe waiting on the yes for God, like if I'm trying to pursue somebody, I think it would more align like when you're trying to really take it to the next level, being serious, being exclusive dating, like, you're gonna be my own, I'm gonna be a man, boyfriend, girlfriend, that type of thing. I feel like sometimes when you're just initially dating and trying to find somebody, it probably won't be waiting for God. Because like you meet somebody, say what, Walmart or whatever, you be like, God, you got 30 seconds to tell me if I should go and step up to her and introduce myself. Like, should I?
She coming out the aisle, Jesus. This one or no?
I didn't know, and then like also being here in Canada under the pandemic, you may look at sometimes online dating, so you'd be like, God, should I swipe left or right? Like,
you should. I feel like you should.
Tell me now, like, should I? So and that's
swipe left.
It's like God be like, no, not that one. I'd be like, look, but so I feel like for initial dating, if you're trying to find somebody, it wouldn't be waiting or looking for God in that instance. But I feel like once you start spending time, kind of gone on a few dates with somebody, and now you're looking like, okay, maybe we can take this into something serious. Then I think at that point in time, you definitely can pray about it, do a devotion, see God, and then see if you're feeling peace of mind, or are you battling with something in the head and the heart, like something isn't quite right. Like if you're feeling that keep that battling with it. But I think if you pray about it, you feel like that peace of mind, feeling like, okay, nothing stopped me. I feel like this is the way to go. So even though you still may be scared of taking that step, but being serious, that peace of mind is going through and you're feeling good to move forward in that type of way. So that's what I would say. If you're gonna be like, okay, yeah, God, let me pursue this. Let's try. So I think at that point,
pray, but the swiping, you can swipe on your own. You can swipe.
Yeah, I can do this on my own. Like, God, I got this. Like,
you gotta swipe it. You gotta. I ain't even swiping out without the Lord. I'm not even like Jesus. So you said you're at a point in your life where you are ready to intentionally date. Now, I don't want you to just think about you. You have male friends.
Yeah.
When you speak to your male friends, what are some of the things that guys, and some of the guys who are here in the chat, I don't mind if you help me out in the comments. What are some reasons why guys tend to say, I'm not ready to intentionally date? I'm not. And are they communicating this? Are they saying this at the beginning? You can help me out in the chat, Ray. When you talk, you're not there anymore. You're at the intentional part.
Yeah.
But when you talk to your friends who are not, or when you think back to when you were not, what are some of the things they're saying when they're saying, not now, gal?
You know what? The way looking at a step definitely back, it would be a mixture of a bunch of things. From either past hurts, being brokenhearted, not ready for that commitment, taking that step to being completely vulnerable. You don't want to take that risk. So you're trying to play it safe and act all hard in terms of, like not going into that attention. Like, of course, you may say you're feeling somebody, but you're not like showing that. And like I said, like the emotional wall that's up. And then another plus is just wanting to keep options open. Some people probably think this like, some minor intentional, but if you and we could hang out, do something together, but I'm keeping the options open. I'll still talk to whoever is what that type of way. Cause some people just do that. And then a lot of times too, some people may not be in that headspace to truly invest into it, given all. But I think at the end of the day, what the most important thing is to actually communicate that, because you leave it to the girl, and so at least she know where you're coming from,
right?
And not to confuse and say, hey, this is what I'm doing for. This is what I'm like checking for right now. This is how it is. Like, I'm not there. If that doesn't work for you, then cool, we be friends. See you later. All of something like that. But
have you ever said that and a lady was like, no, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna kick it.
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember.
Why do we do that, ladies? You know commitment. He gonna change his mind. No, he not. You gonna be
the mind isn't gonna change. Be like, okay, you still want to stick around?
These jokers, these boys, these F boys, these jokers.
Yeah, you'd be like, you still stick around? Okay, cool. I said what I said.
If he said what he said, run, ladies, run. So we got some guys in the chat to help me out. He said,
cool. You need some help with it.
Actually, not ready. But what our guest last night, Brandon, he said that was something that he thought about. Because he said, I'm a broke, trying to make it entrepreneur. And he found a lady who was really willing to walk with him with that. And when he realized like she honestly was there for him and knew his situation, he said like he also traveled the world and been to some very poor countries. And he's like, people who are way more poor than most Bahamians, because most Bahamians we may not know, but we have it pretty good. He said those people are very poor and they still get married. And so since he had a partner who understood his situation, willing to grow with him as a struggling entrepreneur, he's now engaged. And so it may look a little different. Maybe you're not moving her into a house or moving her into something, but I think at this rate, a day and age, if you meet someone who's on the same page, granted, you may not meet someone who says that, so you may meet someone who says, no, finances are important to me, but he was saying he met someone who met him where he was, and he said he is, in fact, a broke entrepreneur, broke lives matter. Shout out to Brandon. I don't know if he's in the chat tonight. But yeah, so some people think marriage is a prison sentence. Ooh, yeah. Could be Anthony is saying most might only see themselves as dating, but don't have any attention. Oh, they just don't never want to marry. They just only see themselves as a dater. Two cards around, not easily broken, but society scars the heck out of society. That is interesting. He said society. So you say your wounds came more so from the past.
Yeah.
Not so much like things that you would have had to encounter with society, but more so things that were in your past and just trying to move past those.
Yeah, just trying to move past it. And when you get continuous disappointments, feeling that type of way, and so it breaks you down a bit by bit, and you don't realize until it's like reached so far, and you're like, geez, what happened to me? That type of way,
No, and I need to do some work.
Yeah.
Okay. So my next question, and this is so the ladies can be enlightened to know, like, what are the men thinking? So for you, and this is just for you, so maybe all men, this is not something for them, but what are 3 things that you look for or that attracts you to a woman? What are 3 things that you're like, these 3 things, that's gonna get it. And then we'll go on to the second part. So what are the 3 things where you're like, yes, like if this is going on, I see it.
3 things. Let me see. I definitely characteristic. I love confidence. I love to see like a confident woman. In terms of that, good head on the shoulders, keeping headed. And another thing that does attract me, I would say complete transparency. Like if I'm talking like if they don't hold back, like someone like me, I want to know the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Because like it's not for me like I don't judge a person usually like in terms of that seeing what, because you never know what they've been through. But what I want to do is be able to like learn how to better understand you and in turn be able to love you better because of that. So like let me know all that's happened. Like you don't always have to say the good stuff on the surface. You can let me know what was bad, what was ugly, what traumatized you, what whatever case you've gone through in the past. Like I'm always
I used to strip.
So I'd be like, hey, okay, how was that? Tell me about
So swinging the poles, like okay.
tell me about this. Tell me more. But and then what's the next big thing? Another thing that I say it was something specific, but like honestly, the overall vibe of a person, like the aura they brings. Sometimes like they come in there and they just like, geez, what is it about this person? They just come there, they either light up the room or whatever, like you around them, and it just feels like, man, I want to just even improve myself around this woman right now, just to make sure, because I mean sometimes
I gotta step my game up.
Yeah.
Brandon said that last night too. He said his fiance made him like want to like step his game up, like rise to the occasion.
Yeah, but no, some women can just be a vibe. Like you look at them and be like, girl, you're a vibe. You're a complete vibe, and that is like, yay,
You're a vibe.
You're a vibe.
I don't know how to translate that, lady, but
I don't translate it. So that's just something, yeah. But that's just something. It's not something you create. That's just something they have when they come around.
Oh, they're just vibing. Got it. Yeah. So you like the confidence, transparency, and yeah, Mikkel, vibe. I don't know. Y'all gonna be home in the mirror like, okay,
I'm a vibe.
When I go out tonight, I gotta vibe. Gotta be vibing. They be like, "Girl, what you doing? Y'all like vibing?" My cousin said, you gotta be out there just vibing.
That's all.
So, what did Anthony said? Intelligence, charisma, and self-worth. Movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together. Yeah, that's that vibe.
I like that.
You know that y'all can be a force. Inspirational woman is a gem, not pushy, just an aura she brings. Okay, not too pushy, just bring that vibe back a little bit. Confidence and joy is a part of the vibe. Okay, thanks, Catheldra. Confidence and joy. Focus and know what you want, I've been told. Okay.
There you go. Way to go with the Swiss Catheldra.
There you go. See? Ray was like, I knew what I was meaning. Like, you just breaking it down.
I know this.
You just know it when you see it. So what are 3 deal breakers? What are 3 deal breakers for you? Like, this going on, this is not going to work for me.
Definitely. So I mean, if you meet somebody who does, if they don't want kids, then I'm like, okay, boom. I know I'm not like, I'm definitely still be friends. We support each other that type of way. But I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna invest. I'm not about to invest in you. We'll be cool, chill, whatever. Because I know, in the long run, I'm not gonna go along with this. Like, hey.
Can't say she ready for some nieces and nephews? So long, bye bye.
Like I'm trying to leave some legacy behind.
Trying to put some seed in the earth, like trying to be fruitful. So kids is a so long bye bye.
Another thing I would say is in terms of the values with faith. I'm there as a Christian man, so I'm not gonna go and say be with an atheist person. And that will come to see me and say, okay, yep, I know we'd be friends that type of way. Because even like this could be a whole good woman, but because that values, I know it's gonna affect later on and cause problems later on. So why go through all that just
to gotta love Jesus?
She sees all that and everything. So in terms of that faith, respect type wise, like definitely, I'll be like, okay, boom, I already know it's a friend, so I'm not even trying to have these romantic feelings anymore, and then just work that in. So what's the next one?
It was trying to put pressure on us in this chat, but Peter and them.
Peter and them only wants a grandkid.
You pray for us. You pray.
It'll happen. One more, right? One more.
Yeah. So faith, no children, and what's the last deal breaker?
I would say, I'm almost a tie to say, like, if someone's like completely like, if you're dating someone's going serious and they're still not over their ex. Like it's one thing like when you're trying to make the change over to become serious. It's one thing like if you initially get some little wags whatever, but when you're ready to make that step, or over the ex, and then also mix.
How can you tell? They're like talking about it. Yeah, like when we used to date.
I think you'll kind of know the different situations for it when it comes to that. And you could tell like still hold up or still trying to talk that in that type of way. Still trying to grasp when it's not right for them. But I'll also mix that too, like with a lack of effort, especially like after you do address the concerns, like something that's being completely one-sided. And that's what I'm talking about. Like if you get into the date, then you realize I'm completely doing everything. I mean, like in terms of all, I'm like, gee, like it's and at the end of the day, that's gonna be draining for you because even though you're doing this type of thing, then and you're not getting anything back, in terms of like,
So when you say you're completely doing everything, like the person is selfish and you're pouring into the relationship, but what do you mean? Like you're completely
and like all of that. So I know it's kind of broad, but the person either being selfish and just taking it because I know I'm a good person, I'll help you and do this type of stuff. But then I realize it's only me doing it or helping out or doing this type, in the type of way. Like you don't want it to be one-sided. Like I feel like it's gonna be a give and take. I mean, some days, I may have to give 80% when she's only giving 20%. But what's a day I'm low and I only could give 30%? Can she make up the 70 on that particular day? Like I know I'm, overall. So like I mean, not being one-sided. Like if I fall to 30, then she just leaves and be like, okay, that's where you at. I'm not gonna even bother trying to help you in that instance. So being the one-sided. So there
you got to make sure, like in everything, like you're pouring in, I'm pouring in.
Yes, I think you got to both pour into it. So
got it. Okay. So Lavon said 3 deal breakers: does not care for her health. Okay. Lack of honesty and accountability. Does not care to grow, evolve. Scatterbrain is a no as well. Oh, awesome. Those are good ones. Yes. I like what you said about the one-sidedness, because I think sometimes people feel like, well, he's pursuing me or he's the man, and so like he has to do all of this. But like you're saying on your end, it may be like, no, you look like you're not depositing in this relationship, so I have to go.
Yeah.
God one. Could be different love languages.
Her effort may look different. Yeah, very true.
And so pointing that out too, because that's something also they talked about last night when they said the person may not be financially there, but he's pouring into the relationship in other ways. So like you said, if it's one-sided on all accounts.
On all accounts. Yeah. So like
you ain't doing nothing. I feel it.
You ain't doing nothing at all. Like
you ain't bringing nothing to the table. I feel it. Okay. Yeah. So how do you feel about a woman actively pursuing or dropping the handkerchief, as they say? For those who do not know the term dropping the hanky, it was a term used back in the day when a woman literally dropped her hanky to imply she wanted the male to come and pick it up, and then that would be his way of getting attention. So dropping the hanky is a subtle way of shooting your shot. This is exactly how Carell shoots her shot.
Boom. Get it. So
that's it. If you didn't see me do the quick look,
you'd be like, you missed out.
That was it.
You missed out. I looked at you for 2 seconds and you didn't get it. Okay, yeah, no.
Okay, it's not you.
No, yours.
So how do you feel about women pursuing?
I don't think women should actively be pursuing at all. It should definitely be on the guy. I don't mind, like you say, the handkerchief.
Drop the handkerchief. Subtly.
With that, I don't feel there's nothing wrong if a woman was interested, like to say in that type of sense. So that means she can say she's interested, but it definitely should be on the man to still actively pursue. Like, okay, yeah, you got the hand to do this, so now it's on you for the guy to actually pursue and do things and still, in a sense, keep up with the chase in terms of that with the woman. So it's nothing wrong with giving the subtle hint for a woman to do, but in terms of actually pursuing, it should definitely be on the man, like without a doubt.
So for example, like if somebody like came in your like inbox and be like, oh, you were so great tonight, like that was so good, such a good presentation, then leave it. For the guy to pursue. Is that what you mean? Like that. Like that's like dropping a hanky, but not being like, you want to go on a date.
Yeah.
Okay. So, meanwhile, these ladies don't do that. No knees.
I know. I saw that. I was like, woman proposed, and I remember I saw those clips. I'm like, is this a joke? Is this a joke? What's happening here? Like,
Tiff feels me. Trying to help people out. Just a little message. You were great. Like, like ladies, like this week, if you want to shoot your shot, this event is for men and women. Like message somebody like, oh my God, I'm going to a great event this week. Like you should come too. Like just send the flyer. Great, like see you in the comments. That's a good little like intro, guys. Yeah. Just like, we have this event tonight. I don't know if you want to
come through.
And then maybe the conversation will just keep going. Like you don't know.
See what happens.
You don't know, ladies. Shoot your shot subtly. Subtly shoot your shot. Say men ain't mind readers. Shoot your shot subtly, ladies. No, I didn't do that because I messaged like 20 guys today, so I don't want anybody to think I shoot.
There you go. I know they're like, oh, that's what she was doing to me today. That's what she was doing. Okay.
No, I messaged like 20 people today.
Put together.
But ladies, if you message someone, I'm just saying that's the way to shoot your shot. So This is my last question, and then we have 6 in the question and answer. So I'm getting to you guys' questions right now.
Okay.
This is my last one. So, why do you want to get married, and how do you plan to honor God in your marriage? And after this, I will get to the questions in the Q&A. Why do you want to get married, and how do you plan to honor God with your marriage?
I can honestly say it started in the home. Like I honestly had a great example with both my parents. Shout out to Ron and Evelyn.
Oh, they
like
are so, yeah, they're
they've
great.
been married 35
So
years.
lovey-dovey.
So, you know, so honestly, so growing up in the household, I'm like, okay, you know what, I could deal with marriages if this is kind of what it's looking like, that type of way. And it almost was an encouragement to do life with somebody knowing how it is and say, okay, you know, I definitely would love to have something like that. And so it was an inspiration. So you know, like when a seed is planted, you grow up in the house all this time, you watch how it goes. You'd be like, oh yeah, I definitely will get married because I've seen what a great example could be. You know, like I've had friends who I've seen where bad examples could be, but I'm glad I was already, you know,
Ready at that foundation.
grounded in the foundation. So when I saw like the stuff that goes bad, I'm like, okay, no, I know what can be good. So at least for that. And so when I have a life partner, you know, Bill would be a family, we'd be our biggest cheerleaders, whether we're doing business to get whatever it is. Like, you know, we're just growing together, and I feel like I think it'll be such a great thing. Like, you know, and so I think we're meant to be and get married that type of way. So it's in our DNA to, you know, get married, be one with the person and all that. So
And how do you plan to honor God with your marriage?
I think the way you honor God is is honoring the wife, right? So you honor the wife with like not just your words, but with your actions, loyalty, respect, communication, being able to pray together, pray for one another, being adventurous, we worship together with the wife, whether it's in or out of the bedroom, you know.
You worship, you have worship.
We have worship, you know.
Worship the Lord with
the marriage bed is undefiled. So, you know, you gotta be adventurous anyway. That's the whole next topic. But
marriage night on Thursday, y'all. Marriage night on Thursday. I think I saw some bars.
You say, hey, baby, you want to go and worship? And I'm like, that's awesome. But in that type of way, it's like, and I think in doing all that for your wife, you definitely honor that, right? So, and I think you're honoring God while you're doing it. So that's my
awesome. Husband and wife putting God first in everything. That's a good one, Janelle. That's a good one. Yes, I hope they're hearing it, Tiffany. I hope they're hearing that. Imagine those that did not have the foundation of good marriages, right? Yes. Awesome. Awesome. So I'm going to get to y'all questions. Y'all have a good amount of questions tonight, guys. Okay. So Anthony Ferguson said, why is it that most relationships tend to end in an immature manner than being adults and talking about the situation you're currently facing in your relationship? Why do you think most relationships tend to end in an immature manner?
I think initially it states from lack of communication and communicating effectively in terms of what's going on, what's happening. If are you feeling sad or whatever in the relationship, are you not feeling that you're being fulfilled in that type of way? So I think keeping an open communication, like the lack of open communication, can just definitely cause the relationship to start to fall, where it gets to people starting to be completely petty with one another. So when it comes to the end, you know, that end looks like a tornado rupture.
Your feelings, you just in your feelings.
You know, you'd be like, geez, this is a big difference from what it started off with, you know, and not keeping that consistency, like how you started off where you're happy and stuff. So, because I mean, if you keep communication fully, everything that's going on, and if it's something that doesn't work out, then you can definitely still end off maturely, be like, you know, something, we tried this, what, et cetera, and you know, and you kind of end up on a good note. You may be sad or whatever, but you can still end on, you know, in the mature manner, you know. So
yeah. I think the reason too, to add with what you said, is the reason why the relationship can't end in a mature manner is because the people that are in the relationships are immature. And it's not any dig against anybody, because I have ended relationships in a very immature manner, but I realized that over the years that, you know, I have grown. And when I look back in my past relationships, I say, okay, those were none of the people that I needed to do life with. They're not bad people, but it's just that we don't have the same, where our paths are not aligned to do eternity with, for what God has called me to do and what God has called them to do. But it takes time to get there. So I think people tend to speak out of feelings. They speak out of emotions. They're not at a place where they're self-aware. So I think all of that contributes to that. Thanks, Anthony. That's a great question.
Yeah, I don't think we talked about, but like compatibility is so important, right? Because just because I'm a good man, you're a good woman, that doesn't mean we're gonna be good together.
You
At the
better
end of the
talk
day.
about it.
So we got, like, hey, that type of way, because when you start looking at things, you can't be unequally yoked, right? With that. So I think that's the next thing to take in consideration for it, right?
And you talked about compatibility, and something when I was praying this week, the Holy Spirit dropped in my spirit. And I was supposed to do some more studying on it, about, compatibility. If you look at the definition, is the ability to, to agree, to have the same likes, the interest, compatibility. Suitability is being able to fit properly for that purpose. It's the right fit. And so I think sometimes you could be a good man and a good woman and you're compatible. You like a lot of things, but you're not suitable to what God has purposed and called me to do. And so I think that's sometimes when people get caught up, like you said, I'm a good man, you're a good woman, let's go. But are you suitable to what I've been called to do? And so when we spend time having fun, like you said, that was a season you had of having fun. You spend that time and you're like, okay, this is the person, this is gonna work. But it's like, no, you have to realize, are they suitable to the purpose that I've been called to do? Because they'll just say not every good guy is not your guy. And I remember the first time I heard that, not every good guy is not your guy. Oh, not every good thing is a God thing. Not every good thing is a God thing, and not every good guy is your guy, because you have good girlfriends and that may be their guy.
Yeah.
Let that person husband go. Okay.
Let that
person husband go. Do you think that it can be a problem with many men, or is it just a one-off not being emotional? Do you think this is a lot of men have problems being emotional, or do you think it's just like maybe you just encountering some guys who are not emotional, or do you think like that's a guy thing?
I think like you say, I think growing up, I think it's the stigma of men. Like, you got to be strong. You can't be able to show your feelings as it is like early on, and then when you grow up like that and have the seeds planted, it's so hard to get out of that mindset of to be able to say, okay, you know what, being emotional isn't the problem. You should be able to open up and be with that, because it can then, like you say, it leads to problems in communication, being able to express oneself, or actually to show feelings, like, what is this that you're going through? Like the society that jam-packed on us of being that, it's so hard to get out of. But I think more people now are kind of understanding it, or trying to get out of that shell, where you can start to show more of emotions on the side and really say how you're feeling and getting it out. And so, I mean, for the man listening, like I say, I'm looking to make sure I get straight with like a therapist, just to make sure I'm improving on all aspects. And so, because that used to be something I'm like, why did I need to see a therapist? I don't need, I was that really like, I don't need it. I don't got a problem. Like, nothing's wrong.
I don't need to go to therapy.
But you realize that when that stigma is placed, like that society placed like that, it's just like make it seem like you have this big problem only when you got to go to a therapist. But no, it's not the case. It's just, trying to better yourself as an individual so you could be good all around and effectively. So
right. Levon said something in the chat about society has messed us up. And now I think that when you point out that example just now, those are some of the ways, saying that men need to be emotional, saying go there if you're a man, just, have as many women as you want. Like, society has put so many pressures, or you need to be able to be making that hustle, making that money. So it makes men also feel like if I'm not making that grip, then I can't get married. So I think that there are a lot of pressures for men as well. It just looks differently. And then when they react in relationships and they're not self-aware to know that, wait, this is a pressure to feel like I should be hustling. Wait, this is a pressure to say that I shouldn't be emotional, versus who am I? Who is the person that God is calling me to be?
Yeah.
Someone, Jonelle said, that's the benefit of dating. Look to see if guys are compatible. Society jam men hard with the emotional level. I think there are men on a variance level, but on average, men are trained to be conscious of emotions. Good. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to go to the next question, because I want to get these people questions out. Do you think going to counseling is an issue? Well, we talked about that a little bit. In relationships. Oh, do you think people go like when they're just dating? Do you think they should go when they're dating?
I don't see it as a problem. I mean, I don't think like initially, like, I start dating this person like, hey,
girl, we gotta go to counseling.
we go and counseling for date night. I know this is only our fourth date, but hey, I just thinking that
I think he needs to assess what's going on right here.
I feel a relationship. I think it comes down to after being like serious. I think when you come and going down the line, and that's just for me, and that's just me personal. I don't think you have to do it initially, early on in a relationship. But I think as you start to become serious and you're looking towards you're going along seriously. Like, okay,
Yes.
maybe we can just start to do just to make sure we keeping this thing going. Like,
And I like it. I like that the fact that someone, like you said, once we've reached that point, not like on the fourth date, but I still like you saying you go before you're engaged. Because when couples go to counseling after they're engaged, nobody want that ring off their finger. They didn't do it. They done did the Instagram photo. They already did. Like, they don't want the ring off of their finger.
Yeah.
But you may go into counseling and uncover that there's some things that's not flying with us. So I don't think that that's a bad thing for that person who asks that question. Not super early, but I am a proponent of it before the ring, because after that ring, so many people are so embarrassed. Like, they already made the post. They don't want to take it down. Like, they're embarrassed. I don't know. Let's go before. Let's decide. Let's decide before. Is it true the difference between individuals in a relationship attract? Oh, so Anthony Ferguson, he's saying, is it true that opposites attract?
In some instances, yeah, because I mean, you could. I mean, I've met people who would be like, man, they're completely the opposite of each other, but they fit so well. And so I think, like I say, I think it comes in that whole alignment with somebody, because you can be someone who just mostly like you or in that type of way, and I think it varies from person to person. I don't think it's gonna be like a one size fits all, meaning that once there's someone is the opposite, I mean that's we're gonna fit together, or somebody completely like me, we're gonna definitely be, like fit together. So I think in that type of instant, I think it varies, but it's definitely possible. Like, you never know how things are gonna work out. Like with somebody who definitely could be the opposite of you, could be the best thing. So
I once heard, yeah, like you said, I think it depends, and I think it could work either way. I once heard that the younger you are, the more likely you're gonna marry someone who has an opposite personality as you. But the more you become older, you marry someone that's more similar to you. And I know that when I was younger, in my 20s, somebody was trying to tell me to date somebody, and I was just like, no, they too giddy. Oh no, I extra and giddy. We can be annoying. They can be like, don't invite them. They're so annoying. They're just loud. Both of them. They just don't shut up. Like, it's too much. Someone needs to be low key. Someone needs to be the low key one. But now, I think now that as I grow older, I do find myself more attracted to people that are similar. So I think it depends. So Tavares, I think, is following up to the question. Once marriage talk pops up, hey, so when do you want to start counseling? What if the man doesn't want to go to early counseling while just dating? Should that be a deal breaker? I don't think I'm gonna say right away, like, oh, we need to break up if you don't want to go to counseling.
No,
we need to end this. I don't think I would say that, but I think I definitely will try to have that open communication of why do you feel that way?
It should be a discussion on
like, okay, because maybe he may be thinking, we're not at the point of where I'm thinking marriage. That may be the conversation. And so it may end up in, okay, we're on two different pages, so let's go separate ways, because if we're getting engaged, we are going to go to counseling before we go to the priest. And so I don't see why it's a big deal to go right before, but he may be thinking, like, we're not on that page to go to marriage. And so that's fine. That's fine, because then I have the opportunity to make the decision. Oh, we a year in and you don't see marriage.
You don't see it? Okay.
I think I gotta go. I think I gotta go.
Thank you, next.
I'm 36, not 26. I gotta check. You gotta go. Not in college, okay? Not in college. Have the conversation so you know where you stand. That's true. Okay. Yeah, y'all could go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So the next one. Oh, someone, I think they were just answering. They said comprehension.
Yeah.
I don't know that. As Christians, we sometimes do not have guidelines in terms of dating. What do we do? Do you have any advice as a Christian? What do I do?
Let me see. I know.
They'll just say 100 questions to ask before you get engaged. Yeah, you could always do that too. If the person doesn't want to go to counseling, you can kind of do the books. I've heard a couple say.
Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't heard about them. See, yeah. I'm not in a position to not to know about the book.
That's a good one. But to the person's last question, if they're
Yeah.
Christian, they find like there are not a lot of things out there when it comes to dating. So what were some suggestions or some things you would say?
I would definitely, like for me, I'm obviously no big expert, but I would look to someone who, if it's not in like your household, like with your parents, I'll definitely say maybe a Christian couple that you look up to, and who you kind of know personally, so you kind of know that it's not just somebody who may look good on pictures or whatever. Like say, okay, that might look good, but somebody you might a couple that does look that you know personally that things are going well. And I feel you could probably sit down and say, hey, I'm just thinking about this, like what could I do in the situation, like as a young Christian trying to see in terms of this dating world, like to make sure I do all guidelines to follow to make sure we stay aligned as we going forward and be, together that type of way. So in each instance, in each part that we're going in, like, like each step of the way, you want to know how it's aligned, like spirituality, like how that's going, where we're growing, at what step you at with that, what else you see, and then just keep building from there. But I would say the first step definitely a Christian couple.
Christian couple as a
mentor. Yeah, so
definitely, I think I would agree with that. That having a Christian couple as mentors, so mentorship, accountability. I would also say, Tavares said in chat, "Boy Meets Girl" is a good book. I know a couple. They're cousins of mine, and they have an amazing marriage. And I tend to ask, like, why do you think? Like you guys seem so like you get along so well. And she said, when I say Corel, we read so many books together. She was like, we read so many books on relationships, on godly dating, on godly marriages, on what it is. And we just had conversations about those books and really tried our best to talk about everything. So mentorship, accountability, reading books, reading the Bible. It says things like flee fornication. So making sure that I'm not putting myself in a compromising position. Like different things like that. And then I think one of the things that are also key is that you are growing in your individual relationship with God and you're growing as a couple. I think sometimes you could get in relationships and make it so excited, you make it so much about the relationship that the individual people don't remember that I still need to have that individual communication from God. That is definitely one thing I would say that I learned from dating. When I look back, I think that I was looking to the person to fill that emptiness that has been created for God. And that they're human, so they can never fill it. And so they were always failing. And so therefore the relationship was toxic because I was looking to them to be my God without knowing it, without that level of self-awareness, but you're looking for them to fill you up. And so knowing that my individual relationship with God is the most important thing, and then us growing in that relationship. Natoya said, be open with others about dating experience. Too much privacy in Christian dating is a whole setup. Yeah. Be open. And the thing is, it doesn't mean that everybody got to know from the first date. I got to boo it. We dating. But it's like letting your circles know, your close circles of accountability, letting mentors know, but making sure that you have someone feeding in, because we get those rose-colored glasses. We're like, I gotta move now. You need someone to say, hold up, sweetie. Let me evaluate his life, see if he really loves the Lord. You may need to do that. All right, guys. Well, this has been great. We went through all of the questions. Now I'm going to do a giveaway. So this is for a guy. Tell me something in the chat. And if you have the book already, you can give it to a friend. Tell me something in the chat that you learned about Ray. The first person, something that you learned about Ray. We gave us a little interesting bio. We gave him 5 interesting facts at the beginning. Something you learned about our awesome guest, Ray, so you could get this book. And if you don't listen to the Royal Access podcast, you want to check out the Royal Access podcast on Apple, on Spotify, on Google Podcasts. Also, we have a group. It's called the Royal Access on Facebook. Send a request to join the Royal Access group. It is he likes a confident woman. That wasn't in the 5, but Ray, you tell me if we give it to Olivia. That was not in the 5.
I see the first. I see our first answer.
Oh, foodie, Jasmine Swimmer. Jasmine Swimmer, go connect with me either on Facebook, Corel Pinder. Tell me you're getting a book. You're right. He's a foodie and he loves conch salad was number 1. Very good. Very good. He's a foodie, loves conch salad. So I'm going to give away one more book because I didn't give away one last night. Ray, tell him about the CD. All right, right. Okay, so one more book. This question is, oh yeah. She said he likes confident women. Someone give me the 2 other things that he is looking for when he's looking for a woman. The two other things, if it's a guy, you'll get this book. If it's a girl, you get this book. And Ray, you can tell them about the CD. We promoting you, boy. Go ahead.
Promote it. Oh yeah. So I do have an album out. It's called No Failing Fate. I actually dropped it almost 2 years now. But yeah, it's out on all platforms. So if you put Ray D, R-E-Y space D, and you put in No Failing Fate, you're gonna find it on Apple Music, Spotify, any of the case for it. So if y'all want to check that out. And then I also have some recent singles I released last year. One was called For Love, and that one was called Loyal. So, and then I'm hoping to drop some more new music before the year ends. So,
how can they find you? Like on social media?
I'll put it in. I'm on Rady Dipster, but I'll write it for everybody. I'll put it.
If they want a message and said you did a good job.
Who's that?
In case you want a message and say you did a good job.
There you go. I put it in the chat. So I put Rady Dipster on all platforms, Instagram, all that type of stuff. So
they can show up with the vibe, like Tavares said.
Show up with the vibe.
The vibe. Right. So I think Mikhail got that right. She said aura. Tiffany was actually right because she said vibe and transparency. Right. But Mikhail said aura. Adina, you were right. He said he didn't want kids, but that was in the deal breaker side. So I got a book for Mikhail and I got a book for Jasmine Swimmer. I know how to get in contact with Mikhail, but Mikhail, send me a message. Jasmine, send me a message. Guys, invite a friend. We got 3 more nights of this amazing stuff. Tomorrow, we got Harrison talking about successful, save, but you're single. It's me. Let's talk about it. So we're going to have Harrison tomorrow night. Tavares is in the, thanks for chilling with us, Tavares. He's going to do Kingdom Marriages on Thursday. And I think I saw Enrico earlier, but I'm not sure if he's here. He is for Friday. So you want to come out for the rest of the week, invite a friend, let them know how it's been. And this episode will be on the Royal Access. Ray, thank you so much. Go ahead and check out his CD. Hit him up on the socials. Tell him how great he was. Ray, we appreciate you. Everybody saying thank you so much.
Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Awesome chat, Ray.
Thank you all for tuning in.
Awesome. All right, guys. You guys have an amazing night. We will see you tomorrow.
I'm good.